Hey everybody, it is Kelsey, and as promised, this is my video on how I go through my water kefir production every 2 days, basically. So every other day, this is what I'm doing. The reason that I really like water kefir is two things. It's really delicious. Like it's basically a fizzy drink that you make, and it is full of incredible healthy bacteria that are great for your gut health. Okay, so I like that because, first of all, my kids enjoy drinking it because it tastes good, but I can also feel good about that as a mom. And my husband really likes it too, and I really like it. So that's what we do. Does it have sugar in it? Absolutely. It is the kefir grains that are the water kefir grains. They thrive on sugar, and that's what they need in order to reproduce and release all these great happy bacteria into the water. So yes, it has sugar, but it also a lot of that sugar is eaten up by the kefir grain, so it's a lot lower in sugar than you would think. It just has this really nice sweet flavor to it. So what you come up with after you're done are these two. I want to show you what these look like now. It really depends on whatever flavor you want to use. Right now, this one is mango. I use mango nectar juice for this one. And then this one is a pineapple coconut. So this is the end result. I put these in the refrigerator this morning so that they're nice and cold. You have a first fermentation, which I'll show you, and you also have a second fermentation, which I will show you as well. The first fermentation is really just the kefir grains and sugar water in order to get the water to get some of those bacteria in it. Once you have that water, which I'll show you, that's when you put it in something like this for a second fermentation. You don't have to have a second fermentation, but if you want it to be fizzy or you want some flavor to it rather than just being like sweet water, then the second fermentation is nice. This is my personal favorite because it starts to get the bubbles from the gas that it creates. Did you hear it? It has that little whatever, and then you start to see all the little bubbles come up to the top, and you know that it's nice and fizzy. It doesn't always get fizzy, so just a heads up, sometimes kefir grains can be a little temperamental, but when it is, it's really good. Okay, so here you go. Yes, winning. Okay, so here's the production. Let's go over the things that you need first, okay? So first things first, you need kefir grains. They are right there at the bottom of my mason jar. They have been working for the last 48 hours on consuming the sugar water, reproducing, and getting all that good bacteria back into the sugar water so that we can drink it and get that really great extra microbiome in our own microbiome, and we have a lot more diversity in our gut, which we like. Okay, so you need the kefir grains. The ones that I got were from Kombucha Kamp. I'll link that on the video. We're not affiliated with them at all. I just have tried two, and that's the one that I liked the most because they came live and ready to go rather than dehydrated ones, which I think are a little bit more temperamental and you don't get as good of an effect, but that's just my personal opinion. Some people might be better at it than I was. So, but you need the kefir grains. So the water kefir grains are huge. Make sure you get the water kefir grains and not the milk kefir grains. Okay, so you have those. You need 2 tablespoons per mason jar that you're going to do. This is a 32-ounce mason jar. So this is what you're going to use in order to have 2 tablespoons in here. So I actually have 4 of these because I like to wash them in between to make sure that they're nice and clean for the healthy bacteria, because you don't want to grow anything unhealthy in there, because then what's the purpose? Okay, so I have 4 of these guys. So you need the kefir grains, you need your mason jars, and you're not going to use the cap, but you are going to use the screw top. So heads up on that. The other thing that you're going to need in order to use the cap is either coffee filters, which I have used before, but right now I'm using cheesecloth. So it's just it's cut around cheesecloth just like that, no big deal. Okay, So one of those two things. The next thing that you need is a plastic strainer, and you want a fairly small one because you're only putting kefir grains in here. So you need a fairly small one, and you want it to be plastic because kefir grains don't do well against metal for long periods of time. So plastic. Okay. Next thing that you need are measuring spoons. I'm only going to use the 1 tablespoon, and I just only use that so that I can make sure that I have equal distribution amongst my 2 jars of water kefir. And again, if you just have 1 jar because maybe you're a single person or it's just you and 1 other person, then that's totally cool. But it's mostly me and my husband that have it, and the kids kind of sip on ours. So because of that, I'm making 4 every 2 days, and that means that my husband and I can have 1 every day and share with the kids. They don't really want to drink one themselves, but I definitely make them drink some of mine. So anyway, so if you want 4 every day, or I'm sorry, 4 every time you go, so that you can have 2 each day for you and another person, you're going to need to have 2 jars and 4 tablespoons of the water kefir. If it's just you and you're a single person, then you just need to have 1 jar that's constantly cycling, and then you can have the other one that's being cleaned, and then 1 order of the water kefir grains. So you need these guys. Okay. Then you need a whisk. I'll show you why, but I like a small one, and I'll show you why in a minute. You also want to have a thermometer. Really important that your water is at room temperature. If it's colder than that, then your water kefir grains are not going to thrive. They're going to thrive in a warmer environment, not too hot, not too cold. Room temperature is great. If you are in a home that is below like 65 degrees, then you may need to ferment your kefir a little bit longer because they're not thriving in a cooler environment. So just a heads up on that. If my house is typically 70 to 72 degrees, and that's how I feel comfortable. So they do really well in my house. Okay, so you need that. And then you also need a half cup. And then I have this guy. This is a 4-cup measuring guy, and it works really well for me. I keep meaning to get a funnel, and I just haven't gotten one yet. But if you have a funnel, you should definitely use it. And I would venture to say that I should have a funnel. I just keep forgetting to get one. And then you need a couple jars. You don't absolutely need them, but it makes things really easy, and making sure that those are glass jars is really good too. So all of this is glass, mostly. And then you need these guys, okay? These are airtight. So they're just like this. So we have 12 of them because we are constantly cycling through. I feel like if you're making them, then you should triple however many that you're making at one time. So for example, again, if you're a single person and you have 2 of these made every 2 days, so that you have 1 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, then I would say that you probably need 6, but that's just my opinion as well. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself backed up, and you don't want to get yourself backed up. And I just toss these in the dishwasher, and they work really, really well. So, but rinse them out because you want to make sure you rinse out those right after you drink them. The other thing that you're going to need is room temperature water. Now, I have discovered that water kefir is a little bit finicky when it comes to what type of water they like. I have found that the kefir grains that I have like spring water the best, okay? It's very basic water. There's nothing, there's not a lot added to it, okay? If you over mineralize your water, then the water kefir can get kind of thick and almost syrupy. If you under mineralize, it's not going to be as effective. So I just do spring water, super easy, and I just get it refilled because our gym has a place to refill it. It's fabulous. Anyway, so you want that to be room temperature. Again, you need your water kefir to be room temperature. The next thing you need if you are going to do a second fermentation is something to flavor your water kefir with. I'm doing a second fermentation today, and the one that I have right now is the pineapple coconut. It's really, really good. LNA Premium Quality, that's the brand. Also not affiliated with them, but thought it would be, I think these are really, really delicious. They don't have any extra stuff to it, and I like that. So Those are really good, and that is the one that made this. So you can kind of see on the bottom, like all of the healthy bacteria there, and then some have even floated up to the top because of the gas. So you kind of just move it around a little bit, and there you go. There's your water kefir. Anyway, so with all of that, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna have hot water. I have already heated this water. So it's a cup and a half of hot water, and it's this water. So again, don't use the tap, otherwise your water kefir is not gonna be happy with that. And all the things that are in tap water are going to kill your little grains, okay? Then this is also on your list. I forgot to tell you, you need cane sugar, okay? I've tried raw before, doesn't work very well, okay? So you want refined, organic, if possible, cane sugar. That's it. This one's from Whole Foods, not affiliated with them either, but it's like the best one that I've tried, and I've tried a lot of different sugars, so I'm just gonna go with what works. Okay, so you're gonna open it up. Oh, I already have a half a cup in here. That's how efficient I am. Okay, so you're gonna take your half a cup of sugar and you're gonna pour it in your jar. Okay, make sure you kind of see what's happening right now. You don't need like a wall of things. Okay, so here is my sugar water. Okay, it's just warm water and the sugar is at the bottom. So I'm just gonna take my whisk. See why you need it kind of small. Take your whisk and whisk it around so that the sugar starts to dissolve. Your sugar doesn't have to be 100% dissolved. I've played with this so many times and it seems to work just fine if it's not 100% dissolved, but I do my best. Okay, so once I've kind of spun that around a little bit, I'm gonna let it sit, okay? The next thing that I'm gonna do is actually get my water kefir from what I made 2 days ago. So these are water kefirs that have fermented for 48 hours, the first stage of fermentation. So this is fermentation number 1. Water kefir grains on the bottom and then just the water on top. So basically what I'm doing today is I'm going in for a second fermentation, but I'm also going in for the first fermentation. So you're gonna unscrew it and you're gonna take off your cheesecloth or your coffee filter, whatever you choose to use. I also change these out fairly often because, I just feel like you should. Okay, so then you're gonna take your filter and you're going to put this over your 4-cup measuring cup, okay? And then you're just gonna take your water kefir and you're gonna pour it right through the filter. And then all the little kefir grains are gonna come out. Now you're gonna see some that are kind of stuck on the side. So I always do the same thing. I just lift this up, pour some back in, and do a second pour because I really want all those water kefir grains. Here we go, perfect. Nailed it. Okay, so this is dirty, this is ready to go in the dishwasher. Done. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my water kefir grains that are now all in here. You can see them. I'm just gonna set them on the side. Once you get into the groove of it, it goes really fast. But right now, since I'm talking, it doesn't really go as fast. This is where a funnel would be helpful. I just haven't gotten one yet. It's like one of those things where it's like you really, you need it, but like you're not just gonna go to the store for, oh, I need a funnel, so I'm gonna just go and get a funnel. I just keep forgetting. Okay. So you're gonna take and fill it. About half of this goes in one, and you want some space because I'm gonna put some juice in there. So you want some space, and then you're gonna do the second one. I've actually gotten pretty good at pouring, so it's like the funnel's not, I guess, super necessary, but if you don't have a steady hand, then you might want a funnel. I have a pretty steady hand. I've worked on that one. Just kidding. Okay, so these are done right now, okay? And you can see like this one doesn't have as much as this one. Not really that worried about it. So I'm going to set those aside, and then I'm going to go in for number 2. So I'm going to put this back. And again, if you're a single person, you don't have to do this twice because you just completed it. But since I'm a family of 5, so you pour it in, put some back, pour it back in, make sure you get all the grains, nailed it, ready to wash. Okay. Then you go again. All of these things are on Amazon, by the way. Most of them, I think. Did I get most of this on Amazon? I think so. Also not affiliated with them, but sometimes I feel like I should be. But who has time for that? Okay. Actually, you know what I should do is write a blog post with all of this for directions. Maybe I will do that. If you're literally listening to me think about my process of work right now. Okay, so once you pour in all of them, it's kind of cool because you're going to see like little itty bitty bits of like the bacteria or the keeper grains in there. You really want those. So sometimes if there's some left, you can kind of see like right up here. Sometimes if there's some left, I'll pour some back and then pour it back in, because again, I really want to get those because that is really important. You need that if you want your flavor to be on point. So now I'm going to take my pineapple coconut, and I like to put like 2 to 3 ounces in each one. So I'm just going to fill it to about just over a cup. Then what you're going to do is you're literally going to pour this in. You do not want to fill it. If you fill it and it creates a lot of gas, guess what's going to explode all over your counter? You don't want that. So I usually go to, depends on how much like water kefir I got. So this last batch, I was running low on water. So rather than adding like tap water to it, I just chose not to and just have a slightly lighter batch of actual kefir. So it's a little bit, has a little bit less of the actual water kefir than usual. Okay, so once you've done that, you put all that in, nailed it, tighten them up. So this is ready for the second fermentation. Again, you do not have to do a second fermentation if you don't want to. You could add some lemon to it and just drink it like lemonade. That's cool too. But I really like that fizzy drink. So I leave these on the counter for the next 24 to 48 hours. You might want to play with your time frame because it really kind of depends on your environment. Okay, so now I have these other jars. So I'm going to open these jars. They are clean, ready to go. And I'm going to take my sugar water that we did earlier. Maybe I'll give it one more little whisk. Okay, then I'm going to pour it in here. Yeah, there's probably some juice in there, but that's okay because the water kefir grains will love that, so I'm not worried about that. I'm going to give it a little bit more whisk. So again, I do that twice just to get the sugar water out as much as I can, because you definitely do not want to starve your water kefir grains. If you starve your water kefir grains, you're not going to get water kefir, and then they're going to die, and that really sucks. Okay, then you're starting over. So now I'm going to put half and half in here. So I literally have this down to a science. I try to like the end part, the last little bits of water have the most sugar in it. So I try to evenly disperse them as much as possible. So I've got a little bit more in this one, and there's a little bit of sugar left. So I want to get that, and I want to evenly disperse them. Okay, So now these guys are evenly dispersed. This is just pure sugar water. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your tap water, don't do tap water. You're gonna take your room temperature water and you are going to fill these up. Okay, done with that one. I just fill it to the very bottom of the lip of the jar, and that's it. So just like that, it's just sugar water. The next thing that you're gonna do is you're going to insert kefir grains. So I'm gonna take my kefir grains that have been sitting here very patiently waiting, and I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons. I always submerge it because if I submerge it all the way the spoon in, all the kefir grains are coming off of it, and then I just lift. Hopefully that makes sense, right? Take this, they're all stuck on the sides and the bottoms, put it in, submerge, let it go, let them fall, pick it back up. Here we go. Okay. That's it. A little tap tap just in case I don't get all of them. And that's it. So if you want to do the coffee filters, I'll show you how stinking easy it is. You literally just put this on top. That's it, right? Easy. Okay, you guys, I hope that was helpful. Happy kefir making. Enjoy.